Shalom, shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai ba'Hashem, Racha HaKorash, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh ba'Hashem, Racha HaKorash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body. Shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon your households. And whoever you are, right, may the strength of endurance be there. Okay, because I know the hopeful elect are feeling it. All right, you're feeling it. But anyway, as you know, the Lord has given us these technologies. As the apostles would say, the internet does a heavy lifting, right? And Brakti Habashim Yashai for our apostles, man. The mouthpiece of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, as well as the elder bishops and elders, and they're the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, the men of Great Millstone. And I urge you to subscribe to the channels and learn, man, if you are sincere. All right, because being an Israelite is a barakim, it's a blessing. Do you realize, man, you are one of the sons of God, if you are of the elect first fruits, but nevertheless, you are a son of the Most High, man. All right, you're an Israelite. Do you realize how much of a blessing it is? And you are Jakes out there that don't want to be that, which is crazy, because they don't understand the beauty that there is in being in royalty, man. They always want to worry about everybody else. All right. 2 Ezra 6 verse 54 will let you know what the Most High feels about the other nations, man. The Most High deems them as spit or spittle. But anyway, I want to talk about something else. I hate the heathen so much. I just always got to emphasize how much I hate them. Damn MF is 6:20 a.m. I don't want to so-called swear too much, even though it is allowed. I'll try and clean up my my language. I mean, English is a bastard tongue, but it is created by Jake, Hence the reason why they use James Earl Jones to narrate the King James Version Bible, because when he speaks with a regal accent. James Earl Jones, an Israelite. But anyway, the internet, invented by Jake. Pretty much every technological thing is. Everything that's necessary in this world is built by Jake, because we are the former of all things. All right. And I typed in the search engine or Google. I typed in the rise and fall of empires. The rise and fall of empires. It is an inevitable thing that will happen. AI overview. It says yes. All right. Yes, the rise and fall of empires is a widely accepted historical pattern, often described as inevitable due to various factors. Inevitable meaning it will happen. There's no doubt. All right, because there's a term, nothing lasts forever. All right, nothing lasts forever. All right, but that term, nothing lasts forever, will not be a term ever used in the kingdom, because for us, our kingdom is going to be eternal. We're going to be the real eternals. All right. While specific timelines and causes can vary, the general trajectory, direction of empire formation, growth, stagnation, decline, and eventual fall is a recurring theme throughout history. Okay, not in order, of course. What I want to say, like for example, the Egyptian Empire, Babylonian, Roman, Assyrian, you know, the Greek Empire, etc., 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 or Greek rulership, you know, Persian rulership, you know, now the American one, and there's been numerous empires throughout history, and I didn't say in order of which one was which first, right? I just said it, just a few off the top of my head that I remember. Okay, but now we're in the final one. This is a very short one, you know. Esau's rulership is like a crack high for a crackhead, you know. It's a very short high, a very short rulership, all right, which they got by the sword, okay, all right, and in that high is coming down now. They're fiending for it. They're trying to expand on that high, you know, which they can't. Elaboration: the life cycle of empires. Many historians and academics view empires as having a life cycle similar to living organisms. This cycle includes an initial phase of expansion and growth, right? Followed by a period of stability and prosperity, all right? Often called the Pax Romana, and ultimately a descent into decline and collapse. Okay, we've seen America's rise. Well, we haven't seen it physically because we haven't been around that long, but I'm sure during our numerous lifetimes we have seen uh, America's different phases, which we can't remember because we come and go, right? Okay, our packets may change, you know, but our spirits live on. And from memory and from what we've seen visually through the television, right? That stability and growth or period of stability was probably the 50s, all right, after the Second World War, 1938 to 1945, the late 40s, all throughout the 50s, up until maybe 1962, 63, was that era of, you know, optimism and growth and fun. You know, you can see that in the movies, period movies, movies that were made in that time, you know, movies like American Graffiti, if you've seen that, you know, obviously rock and roll, the start, you know, everything is based upon the Israelite man, you know, the greaser, the leather jacket, the cars, the music, the rock and roll, you know, how to dress like, as they say, a so-called hood back in the day, as they say, so-called cool. Jake invented all that, you know, the other nations just copy. But nevertheless, that was an era of optimism, you know, where you could, you know, be a so-called delinquent or have fun during your high school years, but yet clean your act up when you're in college and get yourself a great job. Jobs were plentiful, you know. A man could work one job, and a woman could stay at home. You know, she could take care of the children. In the 50s, it had all the greatest, um, you know, technologies. You know, at that time, the refrigerator, the television. You know, everything was very prosperous. It's East. Remember, it's the so-called white man's heaven. For them, it's going to be lovely. All right. And let's go into Pax Romana. That's, that means, one second. Pax Romana definition. Pax Romana, meaning Roman peace in Latin, refers to a period of relative peace, stability, and prosperity in the Roman Empire, roughly from 27 BCE to 180 CE. It's characterized by a lack of major wars within the empire and a significant expansion of its territory and influence. That's funny because the so-called white man's rulership, all right, there's never been peace. There's always been war throughout history, all right. Let's just Google something else. I don't know about Elder Apostle Tahar bringing this out as well. In Western civilization, how many years of peace have we had? In Western civilization, there have been periods of relative peace, such as the Pax Romana and the Pax Britannica, but overall history is marked by more conflict than peace, while some studies suggest that there have been approximately 268 years of peace out of 3,400 years. All right, well, that's, it's less than that. It's approximately way less than that. I think Elder Apostle Tar said about 50 to 60 years of peace. All right, because while some studies suggest there have been approximately 268 years of peace. All right, let's see what they're saying. Okay, Pax Romana, Pax Britannica, British Empire's global dominance. 18. Oh yeah, there was real peace. So if they're talking about peace, they're probably talking about peace for the so-called white man. Man, Esau was, Esau was kicking down. Esau was taking everything and deleting everything. All right, the rulership over the Israelites. All right, Jamaica, India, all over the world, 120 provinces. What peace? That's some bullshit there. Look at that. 1815 to 1914. Man, let's go the 268-year claim. Some studies, like those cited by the New York Times and Legion magazine, suggest that out of 3,400 years, humans have been entirely at peace for about 268 years. This figure is a rough estimate and is based on the definition of war as an active conflict that has claimed more than 1,000 lives. It's nonsense. There's never been peace, man. Okay? 268 years straight through without conflict. Okay, let's just go to the recent ones. 1914 to 1918, First World War. Second World War, 1938 to 1945. All right? And these are all cited in the book of Revelation. Now, Revelation 11:14, the final one. All right? Well, these are all cited, these are all mentioned, Salakia. These are all mentioned in the scriptures. Now, the final World War, World War III, Revelation 11:14, is yet to occur, right? And in between that, okay, you had the what's it called, the war against drugs. You had the war against, and they said more than 1,000 lives, right? A conflict is war that takes more than 1,000 lives. You're damn right. There's more than 1,000 lives, man. All right. Then you had the trade center thing, which Esau, the so-called white man, set up. They were no damn Arabs. All right. Even though we hate them anyway, Ishmaelites and all that. Iraq War. All right. In the 80s or 90s, I believe, when it was. Was it Iraq or Iran? One of them. I was a child at that time. Um, the Middle East thing, we know it as West Asia. All right. And between that, then you had Vietnam prior to that. All right. You had the Korean War in the 50s. The war, so there's always something going on because Esau, what he needs to do, he likes to shake things up, problem, reaction, solution, and all these things are done just to sort of take over different parts of the world. All right. So ultimately, that's bullshit, man. Okay. There's never been peace. All right. And if there has been peace, these Edomites don't deem you as, they don't define you nations of color as human beings. All right. But you need Hugh to be a human being, right? All right. And especially don't think of you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and those of that paternal lineage, wherever you're scattered to the four corners of the earth, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. All right. They don't see you as human beings because they try to cut you off from being a nation, pursuant to Psalms 83. So if they're talking about Pax Romana and Pax Britannica, all these years of so-called peace, that's probably for the so-called white man. If, all right, if that is. And remember, Esau says here, while some studies suggest that there have been approximately. So they're always going to give you an approximation. Approximation is a guess. Even AI is guessing. All right. So we know there's never been peace, man. All right. Okay. There's always been constant war. All right. Well, it's been every 20 years, every 30 years, there's always been something going on. Right? It hasn't World War III started on a lower scale. There's always been something going on. Always been something going on. On average of, I don't know, every 20, 30 years, there's always something going on. So there's never been peace. Let's go to one. Just do once be specifically on America. All right. How many years of peace has America had? Oh, here we go. And I said, how many years of peace has America had? Okay, got an answer. Believe it or not, since its birth, the USA has, believe it or not, since its birth, the USA has only had 17 years of peace. Since the birth of the USA on July the 4th, 1776, with the Declaration of Independence, the country has been at war for 93% of its existence. That's the so-called white man's rulership. War and death. Because remember, their blessing was a sword. That's how they took over the world. And this is July the 4th, 1776. And you know these crackers have been in America and other parts of the world, or parts of the world, since the 1400s. And didn't Esau take his fucking ugly, stink, pigskin ass over to the Americas in 1492? Hmm? What did Cristobal Colon say? He couldn't even put his sword down for an hour. That's how many of our people he deleted. That motherfucker. And he'll be a slave in the kingdom, that bitch will. Anyway, let's get to some scriptures, man. Oh, 1 second. Where was the other one that I had up? It's this one. Okay. We know what Pax Romana is now. Internal and external factors. Let's just go to the conclusion, all right? In conclusion, excuse me. The rise and fall of empires is a recurring historical pattern that is influenced by a complex interplay of factors. While specific timelines and causes may vary, the general trajectory of empire formation, growth, stagnation, decline, and eventual fall is a common thread throughout history. Okay, because nothing lasts forever. This is a movie of Yahweh Bashim Shai, because the ultimate conclusion is the kingdom of heaven has to be established on earth and beyond. Okay, so this place is here for a short while, but a lot of people cannot see it. They cannot see it. They cannot see it, man, because they put so much emphasis and so much weight into this world, man. Let's go to King James Version. Revelation 18. Excuse me, Salakia. Revelation 1:18. 18 verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay? And this place, America, and other parts of the stronghold of the so-called white man, especially America, is a foul place, man. Habitation of deceivers, devils, fornicators, witches, faggots, dykes, you know? Everything's upside down. Everything is that is good is evil. Everything that is evil, they make good. You know, you can be who you want, what you want. Man can marry man, woman can marry woman. Woman can have deal with a dog. You know, they put those videos up on YouTube. You know, of a woman drinking a dog's urine, and having sex with a dog. Having that's not really sex, but having relations with a dog. But those videos stay up on YouTube and social media sites. But the men of the Lord, our teachers, the men of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, they put their videos up, they get deleted, they get shadow banned. See, that's another way how they call good evil and evil good. All right. Every foul spirit is in America, man. You think a place like that's going to go on forever? If the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, another 5 cities, All right. What makes you think America's going to be here forever when this is more wickeder than wicked? Hmm? You know, I went for a pint. I mean, this is last year. I think it was last year. Yeah. I went to my local pub. You know, most of the pubs are closing, right? I just went in there for it was a warm spring day. I thought, let me take a walk to the pub. Let me have a quick pint, nice cold pint, kind of beer. Walked in, went to use the bathroom first. And as you walk in, there's a pool table there. People play pool. And there was a cracker standing there, an Edomite, about 6'2", 6'3", with a wig on and a dress, right? And I felt sick to my stomach. I went in there, used the bathroom, and I said, I walked straight back out. I said, I'm not drinking in here, man. I didn't go back in there again, you know? I didn't go back in there again. That's how foul this place is, man. And America is way more worse, man, you know? Anyway, verse 3. For all nations have drunk. And when it says here, Babylon is fallen, Babylon is the new Egypt, okay? Babylon again. Hence the reason there's a pyramid on the dollar bill. Babylon, confusion, Babal. That's what they say, hey, what are you fucking babbling about? What the hell are you talking about? Babylon is confusion, man. Trying to have that one world and everybody together and all that bullshit. You can be whatever you want. You can follow whatever religion you want. You can do witchcraft if you want to, you know? That's why if you notice all these movies, commercials, and shows, they're promoting all this fucking, they're promoting a hell of a lot of women of color of all nations, especially Israelite women, with Edomites, man. You know, these new movies, these commercials. I think, what the hell's going on here? You know, they want everyone to be together. Excuse me. Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Yeah, all these nations have come, made money for America. You know, you got these gooks that are everywhere around the world, Elam around the world, Ishmael around the world, benefiting off the demise and off the backs of Jake. When I say Jake, I say black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. You know, they're all the Jake neighborhoods making money. You know, dealing with your women in your neighborhood. You know, and making a ton of cash, and trying to act like you, and then calling you a nigger behind your back, and calling you a monkey at the same time. Verse 4. And I heard, and these are rich Arabs, you know, paying our women to go to Dubai and freak off with them in real foul ways. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye may not, you may, that, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Right? So what Esau has done to us, they're going to get double back, man. America's going to be destroyed. All right. And Revelation 18 is boom. When I say boom, it's a UK thing, meaning it's amazing. It's beautiful. I mean, the whole Bible is amazing. Let's go to verse 10, right? And that should. Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai who judgeth her. All right, those are the nukes which are going to burn it up. The plagues you can see, you know, famine, people are starving, people are stealing food, right? People are have different types of diseases, mental issues, spiritual issues, physical issues, you know, a whole unclean gumbo, you know, of disease and famine that's hitting America, man. Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Yeah, the kings of the earth are the other nations. They're going to be, you know, wailing, you know, because their cash cow is no more, you know, because they make a heck of a lot of money, man. America was that light one once a shining beacon. I myself, as a young man, and a teenager in the early '90s, you know, you watch shows like Baywatch, and you get enticed by the fine women and think, man, shit, I'm gonna move to California too. Living in the UK is like a it's like a large New York. It's concrete jungle. So you want to say, man, I want to go to the sun and surf as well. I want to get me a fine white woman too. Nothing wrong with having a white woman, by the way. You need a white woman. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't follow her doctrine. Let's deal with it like a concubine, as you should. But you want to move over there. You know, but then as you grow up, you find out that hey, that's not where it's at. Verse 10: standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. All right. Verse 11: and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. All right. That's what's going to happen, man. 1 hour, man. 200 million warheads are going to hit different parts of America and be completely destroyed. The Lord's going to throw it down. But the so called white man wants to keep building, going to different parts of the world, trying to discover other parts of the world and other planets, saying that they're going to do it. They're trying to build walls, all right? Because America is an unwalled city. But whatever Esau tries to propose, the Lord is going to destroy it. Hence the reason why we're having all these earthquakes, right? Different parts of the world. Malachi 1 and 4. Where is Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashai of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against the whom the Lord Yahweh Shemashai hath indignation forever. Indignation is righteous anger, all right? Edom come out the caves, these little pale monkeys, right, with their yellow hair and shit. Okay, these people are on all fours, man. The Lord cleaned them up, so-called cleaned them up, put a suit and tie on them. They're ruling the world. Can you believe that? And these people ain't nothing, man. How much more when we get our rulership in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai? Okay, and they did build the desolate places, man. The empty places. Especially America. They built, all right. But the Lord now is going to throw it down, man. These earthquakes and these nukes and the chariots are going to come and destroy it. And they are the border of wickedness, all right? Because we're the sons of God. Esau the Edomites are the sons of the wicked, right? And the other heathen nations that are all non-Israelites are the sons of men, all right? The border of wickedness, man, right? There's no such thing as a righteous Edomite, man, okay? No such thing. And if anybody is so-called righteous or so-called good, or, because remember, we got our people that are in different bodies as well, because, Jake lay down with, a whole bunch of different heathen women, and sometimes the children take on the mother's look. So yeah, you got a lot of blonde hair, blue-eyed Jakes out there, but that they'll be changed if they're part of the elect. When they're beamed up into the chariots, they'll have their original look back, pursuing to their tribe. There'll be no confusion in the kingdom. There'll be no blonde hair, blue-eyed crackers. I mean, blonde hair, blue-eyed Edomites in the kingdom. All right. The Lord might give you light-colored eyes, man, but you won't be looking like an Edomite in the kingdom. That's for sure. But we'll see when that time comes. But there'll be no confusion in the kingdom. The only people that are going to look like Edomites are going to be the fucking Edomites. We're going to put our foot in their backside, sideways, as the Apostle Tahar would say. Damn right. Job 14 and 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. All right. So the Lord has always given every rulership a timeline. As mentioned, the Roman, Egyptian, Assyrian, Babylonian, Persian, etc., etc., etc. Now the American one, right? New Babylon, New Egypt. It's not going to go on forever. You think this kingdom, which is probably the weakest, because pursuant to Daniel's dream, we are at the feet, from the golden head to the concrete feet, man. You think this kingdom is going to last forever? The golden head kingdom didn't last forever, or the kingdoms at that time from the gold and the silver and all that didn't last forever. So what makes you think this concrete one, the most weakest one, where people are more frail, more weaker, more pussy, especially the men, is going to last forever? People are more retarded, it's going to last forever. This kingdom. This kingdom ain't going to part. There's a finishing line. But what Esau, wants to do, like it's like a race. Esau wants to say, you know what? Let's keep extending the finishing line. Let's make that finishing line into a rubber band. But they can't pass it, man. Job 14:5 again. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Once the clock strikes or whatever it's going to strike, that specific day, hour, minute, second, hey, that's it. Kaput. No more Esau kingdom. All right. Ecclesiasticus 3. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Every kingdom was planted and then it was plucked up. And this kingdom is no different. It will be plucked up. All right? All right? It will be plucked up. A time to kill and a time to heal, and a time to break down Esau's kingdom and a time to build up. And now it's time to build up our kingdom, man. When the Lord returns, of course. All right? So this kingdom is going to be plucked up, man. And the Lord is very fair, man. How much of a scumbag Esau is and the heathen nations are, the Lord is very fair, man. All right? Okay, very fair. It's not like the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, didn't give the heathen a chance to rule. They had their time in the sun, so to speak. They had a chance to rule. They had a chance to make money. They had a chance to deal with women of other nations. They had a chance to have concubines. They had a chance to have pomp, glamour. They had a chance to feel like they're superior, even though it was all bullshit, pursuant to the book of Maccabees, where the heathen had painted the likeness of their images. All right? So the Lord is very fair. All right? But now it's our time now. And our time is for eternity. Esau knows, man. The He-Man cartoons, if you remember He-Man in the 80s, what was Adam's kingdom called? Eternia. What happened to Adam when he changed from Adam to He-Man? His skin went brown. Right? That movie, The Eternals, even though it's off, all those people with spiritual power, that's going to be the elect, man. And there are going to be no Edomites or people that look like Edomites getting power or, being that way. All right? That's not going to happen. You might have some people who look like that, who are Israelites, on this side might get power, yeah. But but they're Israelites by blood, though. They're from the nutsack of a Jake. But in the kingdom, once everyone's changed and transformed, you're going to have no Edomite-looking Jakes. That's not going to happen. You're going to have your original look back. Just like the brother in the UK, the brother from the UK Great Millstone Camp. His woman looks like an Edomite, but she had a dream where she was in the kingdom and she looked like a so-called black woman. Why? Because she's a Judite or a Benjaminite or a Levite. More than likely Judah or Benjamin. Paternity. So she's a Jake. All right? You're going to have your original look back. All right? Because that Edomite look is leprosy. It's a curse. Yellow hair is unclean. All right? I believe it's mentioned in the book of Leviticus chapter 13. Proverbs 11:1. Okay, so the Lord is very fair, man. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, but a just weight is his delight. Okay? The Lord is very fair, man. Hence the reason why you go through days where you feel real tired and you have days where you feel a little bit okay. That's a little example there. I know you Jakes are going through that. You have days where you have like an 8-9 hours sleep when you get a chance. You feel tired as an MFO when you wake up, man. You need about 2 dams of cups of coffee to get going. And our kingdom is coming, man. The Lord does not lie. All right? This place is going to fall and our rulership is coming. Numbers 23:19. The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man, that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Hmm? The Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Hmm? The Lord is going to say it, man. The Lord says what he means and means what he says. This place is going to fall. Esau's going to be underneath our feet. All right? We're going to have them as slaves, and we're going to rule forever. And we're going to look good while we're doing it. All right? And Yahweh Bashim Ashai is going to be over us. Okay? All right? Yahweh Shai is going to be there as well, man. Getting his promises that were promised to him, man. Getting his glory. You know? King David's going to be there, man. You know, because the Lord promised him to be a king forever, man, over Israel. But Yahweh Shai at the forefront under the spirit and power of Yahweh. You know? Our king, man. Our redeemer. I get emotional when I think about the Lord, man. What he went through for us. The ultimate sacrifice, man. Sacrificial lamb. He's going to come back as a roaring lion when you motherfuckers out there. And you Edomites are going to get it, man. You know? So, anything else I want to add to this? Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Oh, yeah. That was another topic coming in my mind. I think I'll make another video on that one. Yeah, so kingdoms rise and fall. And this one is no different. This one is going to fall also. Anyway, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash, Mawatha Bad Babal Kwam Yashrala Shalawam.